class. I'm Mr. Dan. Welcome to the after-school program. I hope you guys are all excited. We're gonna learn how did words begin. Would that be interesting? What do you mean, bro? I mean, come on, don't you ever wonder how words begin, how they came to be? Boy, I mean, let's know. Like for a book, haven't you ever thought about where the word book came from? I mean, they used to write on the inside of a beech tree, on the bark of a beech tree, and the old English word for that was bark, which finally came to book. Isn't that neat? What's wrong with you guys? No, like for a pen. Ever wonder where the word pen came from? It's a Latin word from the word penna, 'cause penna used to mean a feather. Isn't that exciting? Think about that. Where did the word bus come from? What an odd word, bus. It used to stand back in the old days that only the wealthy could ride on carriages because they could afford the horses and the carriages, and so they'd ride around on them. And the poor people couldn't ride. But then somebody finally came up with the idea, why don't we have carriages for everybody? And omnibus is a word for Latin meaning for all, because everybody could ride on the bus. But instead of them calling it omnibus, let's ride on the omnibus, they shorten it to bus. Isn't that neat? I mean, what do you guys want? I mean, would it be more exciting if we put it in a western like this?
Hey, who is that stranger? Some stranger with beef jerky hanging out of his mouth.
Howdy, stranger. What can I get you? We got nearly everything.
I'll have a sandwich.
A sandwich? What's a sandwich?
You know, a sandwich. From Earl of Sandwich. He owned the town of Sandwich. He used to love to play cards. Never took time out to eat. Told his servants, get me some bread, put some meat on it. They made a sandwich. People liked this newfangled way of eating, so that's what they made it. Sandwich. Called it a sandwich. That's all.
All? I got that.
No. Then there's probably Good chance that you don't have a hamburger.
We usually, good chance, what is that called again?
A hamburger. That also comes from a town, Hamburg, Germany. There they took meatballs, made it out of hamburger. People like that too. Where have you been all your life?
Life? Got that.
Do you have any French fries?
French fries? Oh, you mean those food that people think comes from France, but actually comes from the word Frenching, which is to cut meat and vegetables up into long strips. People used to order French fried potatoes, and later they shortened it to French fries.
Yeah, do you have any?
No, we don't.
This is a bunch of baloney.
That I got.
Hey, fella, I got some of them there French fries I just got from Shaytown.
Well, I'm glad.
That I got.
You look familiar. Is your picture attached to a post with a bounty?
That I got.
No, I'm clean.
That I got.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go get those French fries. I'll be back in a jiff.
That I got.
Here you go, stranger. I was gonna take them out on the ranch.
That I got.
Now, barkeep, do you have any ketchup? Nah, no tricks.
I pronounce ketchup with a C.
But do you have any?
Well, you know, ketchup comes from a Chinese word, kisiap, which means to taste. It was invented in the 1600s, and in 1830s, it was actually sold as medicine. Now, the word ketchup was spelt with a C, just like it sounds. But in 1711 came this K word. And then in 1730, back with a C, which has been a travesty for spellers ever since.
But do you have any?
Nope.
It's time that you and me stepped outside.
I wouldn't do that if I was you, stranger. The barkeep's quick.
Quick.
That I got.
All right. See, it can be interesting.
Hey, can we do one about Kung Fu?
We sure could. Here, try this one.
So it's a fight you want then. So it's a fight you want then. Watch as I take the stance of a crane.
I shall counter your stance with the form of a crocodile, which came from the Greek words crocodilus, which make up the words pebble and worm. I suppose they called it this because it was first seen on a gravel beach with its legs tucked in. It must have looked like a huge worm.
Ah, then I will change my defense and go with the moose stance, which comes from the Algonquin word moosiu, which is he strips off bark, which the moose does when he is very hungry. He strips off the bark from the trees and then eats it.
That is very clever, my friend, especially with the hands on the ears bit. But you did not count on me using the octopus. The Greek words of octo, 8, and pus, foot, 8-footed, for its 8 tentacles. Hooyah, hooyah, hooyah.
I will combat that with the hippopotamus, which the Greeks must have thought it was a fat horse because hippopotamus means a river horse. Room, 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 room.
No. That's not a good choice. It looks kind of goofy. You doing that with your arms and everything. Hey, look at me. I'm a hippopotamus. You look so silly. Hey, look at me. I'm a hippopotamus.
What I meant to say was I will use a tactic from an old English word, spither, which means spinner. You are more acquainted with the word spider.
Then I too will also use an old English word. When you use the spider, I will use the duck. known as duca, a diver. Ducks dive underneath the water to find their food. Quack, 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 quack.
Why are you guys doing that?
Doing what?
Well, the combat moves and the sound effects and then all the cheesy acting. You guys aren't even Chinese.
I wouldn't say it was cheesy acting.
We just got done eating Chinese food and there was only one. Wait. There are 2 fortune cookies. We can both have one.
I wouldn't say his acting was any better.
Yeah, that
We should do one about superheroes.
we sure could. Let's try with superheroes.
When last we seen our heroes, the villain known as Riddles something or other gassed and dragged them to his secret bad guy hideout. And now the rotten plan for their extermination begins. Wake up, Ratman. Wake up, Rodent. Stay awake, viewers. The worst is yet to come.
Rodent. Wake up, Rodent.
Great gasping horse meats. What happened?
Ha 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 ha. Good, so you pesky pests are finally awake. Look behind you. Behind you, there's a clothesline with 4 types of clothes on there. Each one connected to an electrical current that's binding to the rope around your body. You have 5 minutes to pull down a piece of clothes. Pull the wrong one and it'll light up like a Christmas tree. You have 1 arm undone. You can untie yourself and your partner will fry. The choice is yours. And your one clue is, what kind of rip is hereditary?
What kind of hip is repetitory?
Kind of rip is hypotherapy?
No, I think he said what kind of hip is replaceable.
No. What kind of rip is hereditary?
Oh, you are diabolical, Riddler King. Riddle fella.
Riddler man. Riddle menace. Riddle
Dude.
No. Riddle guy. It's Riddle guy.
Riddle cowboy.
No,
Take a card.
Riddle
Wait,
man.
forget the card. No, it won't matter. It'll all be over soon enough.
He's gone. Quick, Rodent, what do you know about these clothes?
Well, in general, the word clothes comes from the word cloth, because that's what clothes are made from.
And the T-shirt is a cloth that's made in the pattern of the shape of the letter T.
And the letter T could stand for the word tear.
Don't think it would be that easy. The socks come from the Latin word soccus. Soccus was a low-heeled slipper that Greeks wore in their sandals. I don't think there's a clue there either.
And what about the shorts? Shorts are a shorter version of pants. But what if the shorts could short circuit?
I think that would be too easy. What do we know about the pants?
Well, a man named Levi Strauss once put rivets in the pockets so that they wouldn't rip, thus the name Levi's.
And pants, which is an odd name, comes from the word pantaloon. Pantaloon was a character in the old plays who was identified by the red outfit that he wore. These red tights were called pantaloons, and people called the abbreviated term pants.
And the material was named after the town that sold it. For example, this cloth, called Nims from Nims, France, also called Serge de Nims or denims, or it could also be from Genoa, Italy. Thus the name jeans.
That's it, Rodent. The answer to what's-his-name's riddle. 1, pants, because he runs too fast.
And run is another word for rip or tear.
Exactly. So why is a rip hereditary? Because it runs in your genes?
Great loads of laundry.
Quickly, untie yourself.
What? You've escaped? Oh, this really boils my noodles. Now I gotta fight you.
Why?
What do you mean why? I'm the evil guy. I'm bad. I'm naughty. I'm the villain.
Naughty doesn't mean what it used to mean. Naughty meaning as in nothing, as in good for nothing, which used to be used in terms as your chair is naughty.
Well, I didn't think it was that bad.
And villain comes from the Latin word villa, which meant big farmhouse. Back then, at the big farmhouse, villains used to work for these people. But because they were not as smart as the wealthy, they were frowned upon. And this word eventually came to mean bad.
So I could be a nice guy.
Yes, especially since the word nice comes from the Latin word nisus, meaning not knowing. A nice person used to mean a dumb person, but that was a long time ago.
Dumb?
Careful, rodent.
Dumb?
You're getting the riddle wizard upset.
Riddle master.
No, it was riddle doer sayer guy.
Riddle guy. Riddle guy. Riddle guy. It's riddle guy. Why can't you guys get it right?
Riddle,
riddle guy.
Man? We'll have to wait and see. Tune in
Riddle
tomorrow.
guy. You can't even
Same
get
rat
it right.
time, same rat station.
You like that one? Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing.
Yeah, all right. Any other suggestions about here? Yes?
How'd you get such a funny name?
Oh, you mean like Mr. Gann? Well, that's another story, too, about how people actually had their last names come in. So let's take a look at a skit and see about how last names came in. Now settle down, settle down, settle down, settle down.
Say, what's that wire hanging out of his leg?
His wife has him on a leash.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Is this the right place for the town meeting?
Oh, yes, yes, it is. This is the right place, yes. You must be new here in town.
Well, yes, I just moved up on the hill near the river.
George's place. Yes.
Let me introduce myself. My name is George. I'm the proprietor of this inn. And let me introduce you to some of the people. Up front, we have George the delivery man. Here, the shifty eyes is George the tax collector.
I shall be seeing you.
In the back, a very good fellow to know, George the baker. Wonderful. If your horse needs repair, George the blacksmith. And over there, that strange-looking fellow is George the tailor. I make this.
So you're telling me all your names are George?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We have started this town here, and we came here along with our wives and helped build this whole town.
Well, isn't that quite strange?
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, we had to bring them after all, but they do nag on and on and on.
No. I mean, confusing. That all your names are George. Isn't that quite confusing?
That's not strange, is it? George is a good name, isn't it?
Well, let's say I came into this inn and said, give me an ale, and put it on George's tab.
Good idea.
What would happen?
Think of it. I have been paying a lot of tabs lately. I thought it was a good time that I was having that I couldn't remember. But what do you propose we do? Change our names?
No, I'm not changing my name.
I'm not being known as Bob.
I've always liked the name George.
I've always liked the good name.
They're not calling me Betty.
No. We can go with what they do in other communities. We can have last names.
Last names? What?
Well, let's say for George the baker, we say George Baker. For George the blacksmith, it's George Smith. And for George the tailor, it would be...
I don't know. I never really liked his hair, honestly.
George Trousers doesn't sound correct.
We could call him George, not the blacksmith nor the baker.
Ah, yes.
No,
Yeah.
guys.
Down on a name.
It's George Taylor.
George Taylor.
But what about me? I deliver. It sounds like a body part. Here comes George Deliver.
No, you could say George Carter or George Porter.
Okay, yes.
Well, what about my profession? I have people talking behind my back as it is.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. He does. Yeah.
Well, what's your father's name?
John.
Well, go with Johnson then.
Johnson.
Or say if your father's name was Will, you can go with Wilson.
George Wilson.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's what they do in plenty of other countries, put son also in front of the name. Mac, Mick, and Fitz all mean son. So we have McLean, McDonald, or Fitzgerald.
But I don't want to be called George Proprietor. I mean, that's a long name. I'd have trouble spelling it, let alone liking it. That sounds terrible. Here
Yeah.
comes George Proprietor. I
George
don't like that at all.
Well, what's your father's name?
George.
Good name.
George.
Well, since you own the Foxes Inn, you can be George Fox. There's plenty of animal names you can go with. Or like I said before, you can go by the way you look. If you're tall, you can be Longfellow or Long. If you are shorter, you can go with Little or Short. If your hair is blonde, you can go with White, Whitman, or Blanchard. If your hair is red, you can go with Roth, Reed, or Russell. Or if your hair is curly, go with Cruz, Kraus, or Cassidy.
Last names it is then. That's a splendid idea, and I just want to thank you very much. You know, I never quite caught your name.
Well, it's George.
George. Yes.
But you know, I can go by George Hill since I live up on the hill. Or maybe Brooks, Meadows, Woods, or Fields. But I think I'll go with George Newman since I'm the new fellow in town.
All right, then let's
Last names will be easier to tax now, too.
back of the line. Back of the line.
Back of the line? Just because I'm the new fellow?
No, we're doing this in alphabetical order. That's very good.
Well, what about Taylor or Smith?
My name is George Black.
He's Mr. Black now.
And Taylor?
I'm known as Needles now, and that comes before you, Newman.
Oh, brother.
Brother, yes.
And so that is how last names came to be.
That was cool.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
Can we be on one of these skits?
Can you be in these skits? Yeah, I guess we could do one. Do you guys want to do like a commercial?
Yeah!
All right. Let's do a commercial, and we'll do this commercial on our alphabet, how our alphabet came to be. You want to try that? Yeah! All right, here it is, here.
Hey, Tommy, what you eating?
I am eating sparkling alpha letters. You want some?
No, I got my sugar-powdered pictographs. It was the very first writing that expressed an idea. This cereal contains sugar-coated shapes of pictures because letters weren't even invented yet. A picture of a bowl meant food, and a picture of a bowl and a person meant to eat. This was developed by the Sumerians who lived where Iraq is today.
Well, if it wasn't for my cereal, you guys would be eating out of stone boxes. I'm having hyper hunks of hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics mean priestly carvings because the Greeks theorized that only Egyptian priests knew how to make them. And they put their drawings on dried papyrus leaves, which is like paper.
Our cereal is symmetric sweeties. They used to write right to left instead of left to right. It took all day to write one picture for each thought.
These letters were invented by the Semites, who were believed to be the slaves of the Egyptians. They figured that a pitcher wouldn't have to stand for the pitcher, but for the sound the pitcher made. So a pitcher of water, which they called mem, stood for the sound. Every word in their language could be said using a combination of just 22 sounds, represented by a symbol. The first alphabet.
Not as yummy as these Greek glucose gooeyes. The Greeks refined this alphabet and had to add more sounds, which were vowels. It's these chocolatey marshmallow nuggets.
Better yet, the first two letters of the Greek alphabet is alpha and beta, which is where we got the word alphabet.
Which brings you right back to me, the Roman alphabet. You don't have all the letters. Over the years, the letter V did double duty, making the V sound and the OO sound. And it was written like the V, or it was made cursive like the U. But there was no W sound. So in 1066, monks put two V's very close together, and it wasn't until hundreds of years later that Italian printers let the V stand for the B sound, and the rounded V, called the U, stand for the OO sound. The English called the pair of V's a W because it looked like two U's put together. Thus, with the extra letters, I am getting more in my bowl.
Did you kids have to open up every box of cereal?
Don't worry, honey. They are getting a healthy, nutritional, energy-packed bowl that's required in a hearty, daily, vitamin-rich, well-balanced meal.
But Harry, we don't have any children.
What are you guys doing with my cereal? What's going on here? What is it? You guys eat my cereal? Do you know how much this stuff costs? My God, shoot.
Hope you guys aren't full from eating all that cereal, huh? Is that pretty good? All right.
What about one about romance?
Romance?
Yeah, we've only seen boy stuff. I want to see something with romance.
All right. I guess we can do something romantic. We'll start off with a romance one, all right?
Oh, my darling. What is that smells so good?
Oh, my pet. I thought that since I was in the kitchen, I would whip up your favorite meal, duck à la rouge. Kitchen. Isn't that a funny name? It came from the Latin word coquina, which means cooking. But you know those Roman soldiers, they took that word into Britain and made it Saichin, which means cooking place.
Oh, my darling, I could just listen to your angelic voice all day.
Oh, darling, I see you've hung my picture on the wall.
Of course, my sweet. When you are not here, the greatest treasure I have is your photograph, which is derived from the Greek word photos, which is light, and graphin, which is to draw. To draw with light equals photograph. And you are the light of my life. And what better place to display the art than to put it where everyone can see it? You know, Honey Bunch, Romans used to pound wooden posts in the ground all around their camp for protection, and the posts were called volus, and a tight row of posts were called volums, and that's why it's called a wall.
Oh, my prince. You are so smart.
We've had enough. We're making it a horror movie.
What was that?
I don't know. It came from the attic.
We'll go up there and find out what it is.
I'm not going to go up there. You go up there.
Listen, I'm going to stay right here and make sure everything's okay.
It's strange that attics are thought to be spooky or just a place to store stuff. Places that were thought to be beautiful were called atticus, a Greek word meaning of Athens, because everything in the Greek city, Athens, was elegant and beautiful. Later in England, when houses were being built, they put stylish and intricate pillars at the top of the home, and they were called the attic style. Eventually, the area at the top of the home was known as the attic.
I don't think what you said made me feel any better.
It's at the window now. It's trying to look in at us.
Now I know why the Vikings called the openings in the walls eyes. But the eyes are supposed to be looking out into the wind. So wind, eyes, and Viking was pronounced Vindaga. And that's where we get windows.
They're trying to get in. It's at the window pane.
Glass.
Glass, pane. In England long ago, it was just a piece of cloth that covered the opening of this wall. The piece was called a panace and then became a pane. So a window pane meant a window piece.
I'm going to call the police. The phone is dead. Far. Figures.
What?
Far, as in far away. Telephone comes from two Greek words. Tele, which means far, and phone, which is sound. Telephone, far sound.
It's at the door.
This is too scary.
Let's make it a detective movie.
Sorry to bust in here. I'm Detective Phipps. Go check the perimeter. Now what's with all the screaming here?
They're trying to get in here.
Everything's clear back there. Go check the window.
They were also trying to get through the roof of the attic.
Roof. You know, roof comes from the Old English word roof, which means cover. Now, why would a suspect want to get through your roof?
Suspect?
Well, yes, that's why we're in the area. We've got reports of some suspicious activity going on in the area. And also, we were supposed to meet our boss here. but he's not here yet. And we've got some reports of a weirdo creeping around your area.
Nothing at the window, and still no sign of our chief. He left before us.
Maybe he had car trouble. Maybe his car stalled.
That's ironic.
What, for having car trouble?
No, I mean a vehicle that doesn't move by itself. You see, for many years, men had to use animals or fellow men to pull carts or wagons before the engine was developed. See, automobile is derived from two Greek words, auto and mobile. Auto meaning self and mobile meaning moving. Thus, it's funny for me to hear a self-moving vehicle that is not moving by itself.
Well, you just stick to detective work. Go try pulling some prints off of that glass.
Window pane. Does this guy have a gun?
We don't believe so. You know, he'd probably be afraid if he knew that the word gun comes from the name dragon, because they both shoot smoke and fire. Let's get on with the paperwork.
This
What are your
is
names?
boring. It's getting really boring.
Can I go to
Let's make it
sleep?
something else. Yeah, economy.
Yeah, economy!
What's going on here?
Well, Chief, it's nice to see you. This couple here has been a victim of an attack.
Ridiculous. Yeah? Well, why are the phone lines cut? I accidentally hit your telephone pole with my car.
And what about the noises in the attic?
Well, I tried to fix the telephone pole by climbing up there, and the pole fell over, and I landed on your roof. Well, what about the noise at the window? I fell off the roof.
So it was you tapping at the window.
Yes, I tried to get your attention. But the cops were outside, and they didn't see anybody. Well, I went to my car to get my jacket.
Why didn't you just knock on the door?
My pants are on the roof. What was the howling? Those telephone poles carry electricity.
We let our imaginations run wild.
I guess it's from watching too much television. And television comes from two words, far and sight. Far and sight. Which is exactly what we want. You far out of our sight. Come on, boy.
Okay. All right. Well, it's amazing that how time flies when you're having fun, but that's the end of our class today, so hope to see you guys next time. See you guys. Remember how those words start. Right on that omnibus.
I was gonna take him out on the ramp.
No one's calling me Betty.
You're getting healthy nutrition. Any bowl is required to change it. I'm not changing my name. You picture on one of them things with
Try that. Try that.
Here you go, stranger. I was gonna take him back with me to the ranch.
Nothing at the window, and still no sign of our chief.
And let it represent the justice. Stuck it after the eye.
Hear that? Oh. How'd you get such a funny neck?
Listen, it's at the door.
Who wants to know how it works?
Yeah, you were right. He is quick.
give it all to him. No, that's too long. I'm not gonna write all that down. No.
Have to ask. That rings a bell.
Okay.
Well,
He had too much hairspray.